So good evening, everyone. I'd like to reconvene the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education meeting for March 12th, 2025. I would first like to announce that Trustee Nzewi is participating in our meeting via teleconference, as was posted on the agenda, and all motions will be with an oral vote. So let's see. Our land acknowledgement. We recognize that the Mount Diablo Unified School District sits on the territory of the Confederated Villages of the Lasan, the ancestral and unceded land of the Bay Miwok and Northern Yokut, the successors of the sovereign Verona Band of Contra Costa County. As members of the Mount Diablo Unified School District community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history of the land on which we learn, but also we recognize that the land we inhabit and learn on is the ancestral land of these people who are alive and flourishing members of Mount Diablo Unified School District and a broader Bay Area communities today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. With liberty and justice for all. So, at this point in time, we will move on to item 6.3, which is the potential review and approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting held on February 26, 2025.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held on February 26, 2025.
Second that.
So we have a motion to accept the minutes as printed by Trustee Mason with a second by Mr. McDougall. Is there further discussion? Trustee Nzewi, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Ochoa?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee Cound?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes. So that motion is adopted on a 5-0-0 vote with support by our Trustee Ochoa. Thank you. The next item on the, thank you. We're going to review and approve the agenda. Dr. Clark, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Madam President.
Okay, this is item 6.4. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Madam President, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Trustee Cound with a second by Trustee Mason. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. Trustee Ochoa, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee Cound?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo votes yes, so the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote, and I need to use the electronic one also, so with support from Trustee Ochoa. As far as the closed session report out, which is item 7.0, 7.1 negotiations, the board received information on 7.2, which is discipline, dismissal, release, or reassignment of public employees, Government Code Section 54957B1, in closed session by a vote of 5-0 with no abstentions. The board took action to approve the resignation of one employee per the separation agreement. And on a second item in closed session by a vote of 5-0 with no abstentions, the board took action to approve the non-re-election of the following certificated employees: ID number 48135, number 48264, and number 1514. 4-3. And that concludes the report on our closed session meeting. So we're ready to move to 8.0, public comment. The public may address the board regarding any item not on the agenda. The public comment will also be allowed on each specific agenda item prior to the board action thereon. Speakers must submit a speaker card to the board secretary. The board president will call each speaker to the podium as appropriate. These presentations are limited to 2 minutes each tonight because we have 11 cards, or a total of 30 minutes for all speakers. The 2-minute time limit may actually be shortened. If there are multiple speakers on any one subject, the public comment period may be moved to the end of the meeting, and speakers are not allowed to yield their time. All right. So our first public speaker is Angel. Welcome, Angel.
All right, good evening, everyone, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Clark. It's such an honor to be back. I know it's been a couple of months since you last saw me at the last board meeting. I just wanted to, tell you guys that unfortunately, I'm trying to make as many board meetings as I can because starting in the fall, I'll be moving to Sacramento and attending UC Berkeley in the fall. So, yay for me. So, well, anyway, I wanted to bring up a special topic that I want to bring up to you guys, and that is music and visual and performing arts. Why is it important for students to have those? In our class, because in the past, a few years ago, we had to cut back on performing arts and music on fourth grade, especially in elementary and middle school and high school levels. But it turns out that those kinds of students love to perform, especially if they have talent or something that is gifted to them. For example, I play instruments before in the past. I play the ukulele, and it's very easy instrument to play, and especially not especially playing and performing is something that people love to do, especially who knows, you might see someone performing on Broadway, or go to like a special like performance for them, especially if they want to have an acting career in the future. I say that performing arts is a good thing for them to continue and have in our schools, because especially in the past, a few years ago, because you see, I'm a student currently at the Bridge program, and ever since at the end of each school year, we would always perform a play. So just wanted to
Thank
share
you.
that with you
We
guys.
are always so proud of your accomplishments, Angel.
You're very welcome. Thanks
Our
so
next
much.
speaker is Alyssa Juarez.
Good evening, trustees. Dr. Clark. My name is Alyssa Juarez, and I am the vice president for Medea. At the beginning of this year, Dr. Clark, you talked about hoping to build a more collaborative relationship with Medea and to have open lines of communication between us as well. As I've worked with the district this year to bargain several issues, I've seen time and time again that the district's idea of bargaining is to tell Medea what you want and then refuse to accept anything else. This way of acting is not collaboration, and it surely does not encourage an open line of communication. Last year, the district tried to slash the amount of days for elementary conferences to 5 without first speaking to Medea about it. This year, we surveyed our members about conferences to see what they needed. The majority told us they needed more time for conferences and a later placement in the school year. With this information, we let the district know what our members said, but once again, the district came back with numbers and dates that they wanted, completely disregarding the needs of the actual people who hold the conferences. In the spirit of collaboration and the definition of bargaining, Medea tried to find a compromise. The district asserted that no other surrounding district has as many days as MDUSD for conferences, and they refused to agree to anything more than 8 days. So, the librarian that I am, I did some investigating and found that, in fact, several school districts in our area have 10 days for conferences. Conferences are important to creating a community and a partnership between our educators, caregivers, and schools. It's a chance for teachers to formulate more personalized help for their students, and a 10-minute conference is not enough. If a caregiver needs translation services due to the district's lack of translators, this hinders and limits teachers' ability to schedule a conference, not to mention the extra time it takes for translators to translate between the caregivers and our teachers. 10 minutes is hardly enough time for anything more than introductions. These families should not be punished for needing assistance. As always, we want the best for our students, and I hope that you as the board will direct Dr. Clark to put actions behind the words he said at the beginning of the year by instructing your lead negotiator to collaborate and compromise, to trust in the knowledge and experience of our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Jane Blausch-Inlow. Welcome, Jane.
Hello, welcome. Hi, board members, superintendent, trustee, student trustee. I wanted to, it's come to my attention that some board members do not know what it means to be a teacher or what it takes to be a teacher. And I wanted to make it really clear that I had to go through 4 years of schooling. And when I went 34 years ago, quite a few years ago, my program was in my bachelor's program. So I did graduate with a preliminary teaching credential. Nowadays, you get your bachelor's and then you go on to a teaching program for a year or two. So you have to get a 4-year degree and then do more schooling to get your teacher's credential. Then you have to clear your credential, which is another 2 years with the district. And if you want to move up the pay scale or across the pay scale, down the pay scale, then you need extra units of more education. And you have it set up right now up to 75 units is when you get your full, when you can get your full pay. And you cannot move beyond 13 years of service unless you get that 75 units. That 75 units costs us money. It's not free to go to this schooling that we're talking about. None of this is free. And I heard from one of my friends who has little children, not like me, who I have a 21 and 24-year-old, little children. She actually said she heard that when her kids get into college, it's going to cost $100,000 to go to college a year. And I was just like flabbergasted. I'll be amazed. But it's not cheap. And I was dumbfounded when I heard that one of the board members did not know what it took to become a teacher. And so I just wanted to make that clear and clear to the public, because they were telling people in the public that you just need a high school education and 2 years at DVC. And that is untrue.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Tricia Collins. Tricia?
Good evening, trustees, Dr. Clark, and the audience. My name is Tricia Collins. I teach at Silverwood Elementary. Tonight, I would like to express the importance of having 10 days for our parent conferences. This is our only chance, in most cases, to meet with parents for the entire year. With 8 days, I can only offer 20 minutes per family in a back-to-back format. That is not enough time to build relationships with families, hear stories of their child's interests, learn of their previous academic progress, discuss areas of weakness, and then provide support, allow for parents that are late, reschedule for no-shows. You always have 2 or 3 parents that miss their conference. And most importantly, to translate a conference for an ELD family, which takes 2 time slots. When I had 10 days, I met with my families for 30 minutes with a 5-minute window between each conference. This allowed me ample time to meet with each family, gave a cushion for late families, or if I needed to run over on a conference, it gave the time needed for the translation services and time to make up those missed conferences. But the most important reason for offering 30-minute conferences, which takes 10 days, is that it shows MDUSD families that they are valued and important, and we want to hear what they have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia. The next speaker is Bev Raft. Bev Raft. There you are. Welcome.
Good evening, trustees, Dr. Clark. My name is Bev Graft. I'm a third grade teacher at Ignacio Valley Elementary School, which, as you know, is a Title I school in our district. I'm here on behalf of my staff to implore you to return our conferences to 10 days. Many of our classes are at capacity. We have several different languages spoken by our families in our classes, not just Spanish, but Farsi, Dari, Pashto, that we need to get translators for. We need extra time for that. Those conferences take longer, not to mention the ability of the translator to get to school, find a parking spot, get to your classroom, and not to mention the no-shows that you have. It is important for us to build a relationship with our families and our children to help them. Many of our children are already behind. They are below grade level, and we want to build a working relationship with their families so that they can help us help their child. And that is so important. With 8 days, not able to do that. We had conferences that ran over. They're back to back. You don't even get a break. You don't even get to go to the restroom. And if you have a family that's late, you can try and reschedule if you have a time available, but more than likely you don't. And then if you have to try and reschedule a translator, it's impossible. It is very important for teachers, for my teachers at my Title I school, and for our families so that we can discuss their children to help them. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Bonnie Cabisio. Welcome.
Good evening, trustees and Dr. Clark. I'm here to show support for families waiting to hear back on their appeals and how difficult it has been seeing those students waiting to hear back if they have been approved, as they have been singled out by not being included with their cohort in all the planning activities for 6th and 9th grade at Foothill and Northgate. I would like to thank MDUSD for making cohorts a priority for students, especially for schools like Bancroft with a double split feeder pattern that is not even close to a 50-50 split. I would like to close by asking MDUSD to reconsider our Bancroft split transfer request for 2025-26 school year. It is not that many students. It never is. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ravelin Garcia. Please correct your name. I may have mispronounced it.
It's Raylan.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Raylan.
Oh, good evening, trustees and Dr. Clark. My name is Raylan. I am a Riverview student, and I'm here to tell my concerns about Principal Clark. She yells at her students very rudely. Not only does she yell at them, but she shows no respect towards them. She doesn't check in on them, and if she sees a student that is upset, she ignores them and tells them to go to class. On the other hand, you have Dr. Richardson and Mr. G, the VPs. They respect their students at all times and always checks in on them. I believe our school needs a principal who checks in on our students, doesn't yell at them all the time. No student should have a principal like this. I have emailed Dr. Clark before, and I felt like I wasn't taken seriously or that email wasn't taken seriously. So I hope this time you do take it seriously. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Megan Brommel. Welcome, Megan.
Trustee Ochoa, congratulations. Happy graduation day. Good evening. I'm Megan Bramhall. I'm an educator here in Monte Diablo, and I'm here to speak on the topic of conferences, especially at the elementary level. I'm a first grade teacher in a dual bilingual program at Cambridge Elementary, which means I have a maximum class capacity of 62. So when you get to conferences, it's kind of impossible to fit all those students in 10 days, let alone 8 days. So in September, at conference time, I had 53 students, which meant 53 families to schedule. And of the 53, 50 requested them to be in Spanish. And unfortunately, I'm monolingual. So fortunately, I do have a wonderful Spanish teaching partner and we host conferences together. So I do not need to rely on getting a interpreter. So my ask today is to please do not further to eliminate the time allotted for conferences. If conferences are shortened to less days, say 5, that means if I have a max class load, I have to see 12 families per day. And I know me, I would be mentally exhausted after that. And then I have to plan and prep for the next school day. So plus where I work, many families work 2 to 3. Sorry, where I work, many families work 2 to 3 jobs and can be very difficult for them to get time off to come and visit. And for a lot of the families, this is the only time I can speak to them and meet with them because a lot of families rely on the after school program and I'm not here till 6 to meet and talk to them. So at our schools with a high multilingual population, we need ample time for our interpreters. I downloaded the data from the California Department of Education, and we have 52 languages in this district. I don't think that's accurate because there are some languages that are under the title uncoded. So there's more than that. So it's really important that we also make sure that we have interpreters for those multiple languages. It's an equity issue if we don't have it. We have a Pashto and Farsi population that's growing every single day. So we ask that you also have interpreters so those families can have access to us and that we can have access to them and the information they have for their students. So please consider this because class size is not something y'all are interested in. So thank you.
Thank you. Jessica Vasquez is our next speaker. Welcome.
Good evening, trustees and Dr. Clark. I'm a volunteer parent at Riverview Middle School, and we come to you tonight. I have 2 other parents back there to express our concerns about leadership at Riverview. Last year, when we came and spoke to you, we were promised a lot of stuff. We were promised in the last meeting we had towards the end of the year more meetings with the principal. We've had 1 all year long. She's never available to students or parents. If you were a parent coming in and not knowing who the principal there was, you would believe Dr. Richardson is the principal there because he's always available to students, always available to parents. He communicates with them great. On the other half, Mrs. Clark, she will yell at them. I've witnessed it myself. And no child should be yelled at. I mean, they're coming to school to learn, and to have an adult there yell at them, that's not going to help them. So I ask that you guys listen to us this year and make the change at that school because it is highly needed. These kids need someone that's going to understand them and it's going to be there for them and not approach them the way she does. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our final speaker is Mr. Brett Haupt. Welcome.
Board members, Dr. Clark, good to see you guys. So I am a teacher at Sequoia Middle School. This is my first year teaching middle school. However, all my previous years in the district, I was an elementary school teacher. And so tonight I am here on behalf of our fellow elementary school teachers to advocate for to not diminish further any conference time for our elementary school teachers. I think what you've seen and throughout all the rest of the speakers, the common theme here really rings true with equity. When we see data presentations that our English language learners are consistently lagging behind, that we have been taking the steps to address the things that we need to do for our learners that start off with English not as their primary language, the first thing I think about when I think about these conferences is equity. The first people to be affected by these changes, by the shrinking of the conference times, are those parents who are often the ones we need to meet with most. They are the families of the students who need the most help, the translations, the extra time to build those relationships, because the parents that don't need it will be fine with the diminished time. It's the parents that do who we really need to build those relationships with that will struggle. So many of our Title I sites, the amount of translations, the amount of translators needed. When I worked at Wren Avenue, I had about half of my students need translators, excuse me, across all of the teachers and the site to coordinate all of those translators into a truncated period was just not equitable. So I'd encourage that you please consider returning this to possibly 10 days, at least keeping it the way it is, and don't diminish it any further. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your personal comments. The next item is communications 9.1 from district organizations. Mrs. Ortega. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, trustees, Dr. Clark, members of the audience. First of all, I want to thank all my members who came out this evening, especially in this rain, to speak in regards to the importance of having the caregiver conferences. As an educator for many years, I've always valued that time. I also, because I spoke Spanish, I was able to identify and be able to speak with my families a little bit longer. And as my members were saying, we need to establish that first contact, especially with our in the growing number of TK students in classes. That is the first time a parent may come to a public school. And so they required more time. They required what is going on in the school site. I hear all this, what resources, especially if you have a family who is brand new to this country. They're seeking information, and we provide that. If I don't have the answer, I would reach out to my office manager. If not, a counselor. Whatever that need was, I was able to locate that information and follow up. But I need that time to learn what's going on with my families. So I just wanted to just again stress that part, that we really need to go back to those 10 days because that would help build a school community. On another note, for those who have been keeping track, and I know many people have been reaching out to me of the number of the HVAC diverse working condition submissions. And I wish I wouldn't have to report this, but I have to. Today we reached the 100th submission, 100. Although I appreciate the hour-long conversation I had the other night with the director of M&O, she was able to share with me what is being done to fix the thermostat problem and why my members still do not have the ability to adjust their thermostat. What I heard was that there are 3 different thermostats being used throughout the district, and it will take time to reconfigure them. This was not the news I wanted to hear. My members and our students have been very patient, and they deserve to know when this work will be done. Again, Schneider Electric executives, if you were listening, fix the problem you created. And in regard to bargaining, I have been asked, what are Medea's priorities? I think we have made it very clear in our bargaining updates what Medea's priorities are. After 6 bargaining sessions, Medea's bargaining team has proposed numerous improvements that include learning conditions for our students and working conditions for our members. We've asked for smaller class sizes, lower caseloads for counselors, nurses, speech language pathologists, and special ed teachers. We've asked for library media teachers, and we've asked for more elementary general music teachers. We have asked for improvements in our safety contract language and more prep time for all grade levels. These are just a few items that would directly benefit our students. So, with all due respect, the question isn't what are Medea's priorities? I would like to ask instead, what are the district's priorities? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we were hoping tonight, we're really here tonight to honor our Teachers of the Year. And so if I would have known this was going to go on, I would have moved you guys up front. So I apologize to the families who've been waiting so patiently. But we are really excited. This is probably one of our favorite meetings of the year to, to recognize those teachers who have worked so hard and who have been recognized by their colleagues, by students, by parents, for the exceptional work that you do. And I'm really excited to put all of the attention on those teachers. So I just have a couple of scripts to read, and I just if you are a Teacher of the Year, if you can just raise your hand just so I can spot you out in the crowd, so I know as I'm reading. I see some of you guys there. Great. We're so excited for you. So excited for you. Yes, yes. So again, you deserve just all the flowers and recognitions that that you all have put into this hard work. So just real quickly, I just want to read an opening statement, and then I'm gonna recognize each Teacher of the Year. I'm gonna have you come up. I'm gonna have you say a few words. Hopefully, you can pass if you'd like, but at least if you can introduce your family members who are here, we love to see the families. And then I'm gonna give you a certificate. We have a gift for each one of you, but then at the end, we're going to take a picture with all of you with the board, because we're just really so proud of you all and just super excited that you're being recognized on this very, very special evening. And you came out here in the rain, and I'm just, again, sorry that you've had to wait. So each of our finalists here tonight are passionate educators who excel at building strong, meaningful relationships with their students. They are dedicated to working collaboratively with fellow staff members to meet students' needs and are committed to sharing teaching strategies and best practices with their colleagues and educational leaders regionally and throughout the state. This year, over 200 outstanding teachers were nominated for the MDUSD Teacher of the Year. Following their nominations, teachers were invited to complete a brief questionnaire which was carefully evaluated by a panel of MDUSD representatives. And from this exceptional pool, the nominations were narrowed down to 8 highly qualified and impressive candidates who proceeded to interview with the MDUSD Teacher of the Year Selection Committee. These finalists exemplify the dedication, creativity, and excellence that defines our district commitments to education. So our first Teacher of the Year that we would like to recognize and embarrass, and I just want to preface this by saying, I know that you all do not like the attention to be shined on you, but tonight we're going to shine that attention on you. So if I can please have Tabitha Box from Ignacio Valley High School, please stand. Yes, yes, yes. So I have a whole bunch of bullets on you, but I'm just going to read a few because I don't want to embarrass you, right? And I know that you just like to just serve your students and just be a great educator. So Tabitha teaches Algebra 2, trigonometry, and she's part of the IB analysis and IB analysis and approaches for grades 9 through 12 at Ignacio Valley High School. She has 18 years of teaching experience, including 15 years in Georgia and 3 years at Ignacio Valley High School. She founded the school's first math team, which competed at UC Berkeley. She serves on the district leadership team, and she is an IB coordinator, technology integration leader, and math department chair. She mentors a student teacher from St. Mary's College and she is passionate about fostering critical thinking and academic growth, leading professional development, mentoring, and collaboration with stakeholders to enhance educational experiences for all of her students. Can we please give a big round of applause to Tabitha Bott? Certificate here, and we would really like you to say a few words. Okay, thank you so much.
Hi, Dr. Clark and trustees. Oh, thank you. I wasn't quite sure.
Okay, I want to go too.
Yeah. Hi. My family, they're at home tonight. We were going to have a baseball game, so it got rained out, of course. But yeah, thanks for having me. And I am very honored, truly. So with my experience in Georgia, it's been a whirlwind of opportunities, and whatever I can bring with that expertise here, I do. And so coming up from a limited resource as a child and a rough environment, a toxic environment, I am uniquely in a position to help some of our students at our Title I schools. And I have brought not only that teaching expertise from Georgia, but also from growing up with limited opportunities, and to open those doors for the students that we have at our Title I schools. And so that's what I'm doing with math team. And those are some other things that I'm doing for our Title I schools. So thank you again. I'm honored, and I will not take any more of your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, if I could please have Lisa Cotroni from Concord High School, please stand. Did I pronounce your last name right? Okay. All right, thank you. I've been working on that today, so I just want you to know, again, special night. I really want to honor you guys, and I really wanted to get that right. So Lisa teaches English language development and academic language development at Concord High School. She has 17 years of teaching experience, including 2 years at St. Mary's College, 5 years at Olympic High School, and 10 years at Concord High School. She is the English language coordinator at Concord High. She's developed and leads in a push-in support model for language learners. She's created and leads the Bilingual Ambassadors Program and Multilingual GLYPH Literacy Magazine. She leads the Tobacco Use Prevention Education, better known as TUPE, and Friday Night Live groups. She serves on the school site council, and she enjoys being part of a vibrant community, making lifelong connections with students, and believes teaching is a rewarding and fulfilling profession. Lisa, will you please come to the podium and say a few words for us?
Thank you, trustees, and Dr. Clark. Sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm like shaking. I just, well, my family also couldn't make it, but y'all are my family, so we're all here together. And I just want to say, I'm so honored to receive this. It means a lot to me, to be recognized, and because I just know there's so many amazing educators surrounding me. So to be amongst so many amazing educators in this room, and just also at my site. And so I just want to say, I really feel like what makes us Teacher of the Year are those small moments that nobody sees. And we're all kind of Teacher of the Year in different moments. And it's so it's an honor that I'm holding right now, but I feel like I'm holding it for so many other people in our daily jobs and all the different things, all these different connections we make with students and moments that we have with students. We're quietly, maybe not being noticed in that moment, Teacher of the Year. So thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent. All right. If I could please have Veronica Lino Garcia, please stand. All right. All right. So, Veronica teaches bilingual kindergarten in English and Spanish at Cambridge Elementary School. She has 13 years of teaching experience, including 2 years in Pittsburgh Unified and 11 years at Cambridge Elementary. She formerly taught transitional kindergarten, hats off, and she serves as the kindergarten grade level representative and she mentors student teachers from Cal State East Bay and from St. Mary's College. She is a mentor in the MDUSD residency program, supporting new district teachers. She serves on the school site council, and she is passionate about teaching and inspiring bilingual learners and building strong community partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica Garcia. Our family up here, huh?
Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is an honor. Actually, this is my second time being a finalist, and I'm just wow again. So this is amazing. Maybe the third one will be the best. I don't know. I'll continue doing my best. I have my twin sisters here who came from Southern California. So thank you. Thank you. I also have some colleagues behind supporting me. So again, thank you. I know not everybody could come, but I know they're there for me, and I'm there for them too. And I just want to read something really quickly that I share with the parents that I serve, the families that I serve at my school. I share the news, this good news to my families in Class Dojo. Of course, I said it in Spanish, but I'm going to translate it in English. So I told them that I dedicate this recognition to all the students and families that I have had the pleasure of teaching and meeting, because thanks to all of them, I am the teacher that I am now. Building my strengths in my teaching practices, my strategies, and I know there's more to learn, and I'm ready to continue learning. I also thank them to entrusting me, their students, because every morning I go to school very happy, and my students are there very happy, always cheering Miss Lano, and that warms my heart. Also, I want to continue again, like I said, continue doing my best, because at the end, I want the best for my students. I want them to achieve academic success and be bilingual and biliterate. And I continue doing, promoting those good values as human beings. So again, thank you so much. This is for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, do we have Catherine Gates from Pleasant Hill Middle School? Is she here tonight? Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. All right. Catherine teaches 6th grade core, language arts, and world history / ancient civilization. And she also teaches mindfulness and social and emotional learning, SEL. Thank you for doing that. She has 23 years of teaching experience, including years in Orinda and Oakland, and the Oakland Unified School District. She has been at Pleasant Hill Middle School for the past 13 years. She is focused on building trust and creating safe, supportive environments for all students. She values meaningful connections with students and providing a space where they feel seen and heard. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Catherine Gates.
I won't say as much as other people have. I tend to be a little bit on the less wordy, the shyer side. Thank you. My family wanted to be here, but my husband is taking care of my sick daughter at home, unfortunately. They're here in spirit. I just want to say that this was an unexpected honor, and I feel very humbled, and I look forward to continuing to grow and to do hard work for the students. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you. All right, do we have Teresa Gutierrez from Meadow Homes? All right, Teresa. So Teresa is a second grade dual language Spanish teacher at Meadow Homes Elementary. She has 19 years of teaching experience, including 15 years teaching third grade and 4 years teaching second grade. She has experience with various bilingual educational models. She is a national board certified teacher in English as a new language since 2013. She's an adjunct assistant professor at St. Mary's College of California School of Education since 2023. Active in various committees, including School Site Council, PTA, and National Board Certification Support Groups. She mentors student teachers, some of who have become Meadow Homes teachers. She enjoys continuous learning and adapting teaching strategies to best support her students. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Teresa Gutierrez.
I just want to say for any of you who are bilingual, feel free to speak in multiple languages. We do value all languages here in this district, and we do have translation.
Well, just one thing I'm going to say in Spanish is my name is actually Teresa.
Okay.
I'm very particular on that.
Thank you. Okay.
My family watching at home is going to be like,
Yeah.
that's such a thing to do.
I'm going to come to your class and you're going to teach me to say your name correctly. All right. I promise you that. All right. All right. Good.
So thank you to the trustees and thank you, Dr. Clark. Today I have my husband, Jose, and my daughter, Lisette, who's in kindergarten. We live in Vallejo, but she's in a bilingual program in Vallejo, which kind of speaks to how much I value bilingual education. And then my family's at home watching. So hey, family. I just want to say that obviously this is a huge honor and something that I think every teacher strives for is to create an environment for their students to be comfortable, to learn, to be successful. And I think that if we can accomplish that, whether we know the outcomes or not, you know, it just speaks volumes for everything that we do. I am so grateful to all the my colleagues, families, students, my mentor, Lorena Stiles, and just all the learning that I'm able to do with my students every day. Every time I kind of get bored or get complacent with my job, I kind of think like, okay, what else can I do? And that's kind of what gets me to keep on doing professional development and seeing what else can I improve on to be a better teacher. So thank you so much for this honor. And I hope that in the future, or I hope, sorry, I can't, I'm super nervous. I'm really excited to see what other things we all can accomplish in the future for our students. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So our next teacher, do we have Ernesto Ernie Miglana from Sequoia Middle School in the house? All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. It says Ernesto and then Ernie's is in quotation. So you want me to call you Ernie? Can I call you? All right, Ernie. So Ernie teaches 8th grade English and 6th grade leadership at Sequoia Middle School. He has 18 years of teaching experience within the Mount Diablo Unified School District. He was inspired to teach by his grandmother, a former English professor at Diablo Valley College. He is focused on helping students find joy and fulfillment in learning, and he values witnessing students' progress and celebrating their achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ernie Miglana from Sequoia Middle School.
Superintendent Clark, Board of Trustees, thank you so much. This is a great honor. I'm very humbled and surprised by this. So thank you for having me and thank you for celebrating the teachers of this wonderful district. I had no idea I was going to talk, but I do want to say briefly, express some gratitude to some individuals namely the teacher at Northgate High School, Scott Harris. He's the one who convinced me to teach at the middle school level. I thought I was going to go to high school, but now I realized, well, I realized for almost 20 years now, middle school is my jam. I have a knack for teaching middle schoolers, and it seems to work. So it's been great. I also want to thank a guy who's here who took a chance on me when I had a ponytail and really young, Robert Humphrey, my former principal.
Hi.
I was just a substitute teacher, and he saw something in me, and he wanted me to work for him full time. So thank you, Robert. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the wonderful staff that I work with at Sequoia Middle School. As far as I'm concerned, they should all be Teachers of the Year, and I have a couple of them with me here, Jane and Brett. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's important for me to say that I'm a product of this district. I was a former student of MGSD. I wasn't the best student, but there were teachers in this district that took care of me and looked after me, namely Sue Lusage, who's now long retired. And she was my teacher at Sequoia Middle School. And I'm very proud to be working at Sequoia Middle School, paying it forward. My mother and my uncles went to Sequoia Middle School. I went to Sequoia Middle School with my sister, and my three daughters all went through that school. The youngest one there right now. So it's just been a joy being an educator, paying it forward, helping the kids, seeing them thrive, encouraging them to learn. And now my family's not here because my wife is timing at a swim meet, my daughter's first swim meet, and she's swimming in the rain. And my other daughter is at a dance practice because she has a competition coming up in 2 weekends from now. So, and my other daughter's watching live from home. So, hi, honey. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so those were all of our finalists, and now we're down to our two teachers that are going to represent Mount Diablo Unified in the county and state Teacher of the Year competition. So someone who is not unfamiliar to this room, if he can please stand, David Pintado from Mount Diablo High School. I got like a page and a half on you, but I'm going to read as a couple bullet points. Is that all right? Because I know you're a shy person. And David. And I know also once you get that microphone, it's not going to be brief. So I got, all right. No, so David, he's a family practice medical doctor licensed in Mexico with 28 years of medical practice experience. He taught nursing and public health at universities in Mexico for 20 years. He holds a master's degree and a PhD, which supported his transition to career technical education, better known as CTE in the United States. Began teaching medical assisting to adults at Heald College. Worked as a health science teacher in West Contra Costa Unified for 1 year. Joined Mount Diablo High School in 2016, teaching in the Medical and Biotechnology Academy, now transitioned to the patient care pathway. He's a health science adjunct professor at Diablo Valley College. He coaches tennis at Mount Diablo High School and advises the Sports Medicine Club. He operates an East Bay CPR First Aid Training Center, employing MDUH Mount Diablo High School students as interns. He mentors students in the HOSA Future Health Professionals organizations. He's created dedicated CPR, first aid, and basic life support training center authorized by the American Heart Association. He's motivated by the opportunity to create positive change in youth and promote health and safety education. I could just go on, but ladies and gentlemen, David Pintado, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm not gonna be here. Give it back to the people. That's not a good.
Can you hold the microphone though?
I think you can hear me.
David, take that microphone
with you. Yeah.
Just the microphone for the video. People
Okay, so
watching at home.
Two, timer. 3, 2, 1. No, 1 minute. So, first of all, I'm thank you to God and my parents for giving me the life. Secondly, I'm gonna thank custodians teachers, sitting outside in the parking lot waiting for their children. I want to thank the students, my family, obviously, my wife Katie, my son Tyler, which actually volunteering right now at Mount Diablo High School. My son AJ, which is very happy to see his former teacher right there, teacher of the year. You see, it's a great family. But anyway, I just want to say that we are a society of change. We are here to change the society, and that's why you guys, what you see is what you get with me. I mean, I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut when it comes to changes. I'm gonna make this different. And I'm not saying a lot of people, but there's one in particular that and that's right here. And she brought me to my and I'm really happy to make this my second home. I'm in the high school from 7 till 6, 7 p.m. every day, and I enjoy it. And I think it's a few t-shirts, Mr. Pike, Susan, you guys are the best with me and my students, which actually I'm here for them too. But I'm gonna end this by saying that I just met the Thurman in Sacramento in a hallway talk, and I told him that Dr. He is by far the best district in the state.
That's right. Believe it.
So with that being said, I thank everybody for that. And a couple years ago I was finalist. Now I made it. It's like a Oscar, huh? Oscar. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone.
All right, last but not least, and I don't know if I see her. Is Elizabeth? Oh, okay. Where is she hiding back there? There she is. All right, good. I'm not going to embarrass her, but I saw her. We were at a training on Monday, and I saw her, and like literally, she's on my computer like all the time because I have that Friday letter up, and so I told her I feel like I'm seeing like a famous person there and stuff like that. So anyway, Elizabeth Swanson, TK teacher from Silverwood Elementary School. This is going to shock us all, but I'm going to say it. 35 years of teaching experience, starting at Rio Vista. I hope that's not a typo. Okay, all right. Okay, good. So 32 years of teaching experience starting at Rio Vista Elementary in Bay Point, then moving to Silverwood Elementary in Concord. She taught kindergarten and has focused on transitional kindergarten for the past 11 years. She is passionate about child-centered, play-based learning. I know Trustee Nzewi is excited to hear that. Creating lessons that meet individual student needs. She's recognized for her patience, trustworthiness, and her ability to foster early childhood education success. She collaborates closely with instructional assistant Nancy Espinino. Nancy here? All right. Okay, there you go, Nancy. There you go. No, I lost my spot. Okay. And Nancy to provide individualized and small group support. She integrates music, meditation, and cool down time to help students learn self-regulation and emotional well-being. She encourages positive affirmations, promoting self-confidence and resilience in students. She incorporates 3 types of play: teacher facilitated, child-centered, and collaborative, emphasizing social and problem-solving skills. She engages with families through events like literacy nights, promoting strong family connections. She's highly regarded for her transformative impact on students' communication and emotional skills as shared by parents. She serves as a mentor and leader in the district and county. She's recognized as a spotlight teacher for exemplary practices in equity and engagement. She welcomes new teachers to observe her classroom, inspiring effective teaching strategies through the district teacher induction and support program. She is praised for nurturing a love of learning, elevating both students and the teaching community through innovation and dedication. ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Swanson.
Good evening. First of all, I'm going to turn 2 because I believe in being respectful. Thank you. First, I want to acknowledge all of the finalists. Sitting back there, I was like, how am I going to follow all this, right? You're all extremely, extremely impressive teachers. And it's an honor to be here with you today, okay? Second thing I want to talk about is my family can't be here, but my son and my daughter are Mount Diablo graduates. They graduated from College Park, and they are out in the world doing really hard things, changing the world. So thank you, Mount Diablo teachers. I want to continue on with what David said, was it's really important that when we approach our world right now, that we be the change we want to see in our world. We may not be able to affect everything, but what we do every day matters. And if we go to our jobs and we go to our communities and we try to reflect the love and the care for one another, then we can make small changes. And if everybody does that, we can create a tipping point, right? The other thing I want to talk about is, although my family's not here, my school family is. And I've been at Silverwood for 22 years. If you've ever walked on that campus, you will see how the teachers care for each other and how they take care of each other. Someone's out, everyone gathers. It's a wonderful place to be. Another thing I want to talk about is Mr. Burns brought along with us just a few years ago the idea that to be curious, not judgmental. And every day we start our staff meetings with that. We started off as a wonderful staff, and now we have Mr. Burns. We have an incredible staff. And I just want to appreciate everyone who's in our community at our school. Thank you very much for this honor. I plan to continue to be a proponent of play, because we know that when children have advocacy for themselves and their families, we can make changes. The ability to have an assistant like Nancy Espino, where I can work with children one-on-one, and I know that she's there to support all the children, it makes every bit of difference in the world. This small class size where I can give the children exactly what they need is everything. Thank you very much.
So if we could have all the teachers of the year come up to the front for a picture, and then families can take a picture, and then we can continue on with our meeting. Come on up here. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want. We all gotta look at the camera. Whoa. Kristen wants to come up front a little bit. Come on. All right. Everything okay?
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight so that we could celebrate you as our honorees for the Teacher of the Year program. It's very exciting.
We're gonna leave it. We'll leave it over there.
Can they get it? Get the speaker?
Solar. No, which one is, you're older? By how much? Oh.
The fun of having a twin, huh?
Doesn't matter if it's like a bit.
Well, thank you, Dr. Clark, for making the evening so joyous. And a special congratulations to all our Teachers of the Year. We'll move on to board member reports.
Linda, can you speak a little closer to the mic?
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Just when I think I'm being loud. So we'll start with Mrs. Cound.
All right, thank you very much. Since the last board meeting, I was able to get out and about more than usual, so really appreciated it being Read Across America. I got to go and read at Meadow Homes Elementary and also at Wren Elementary. And it's called Read Across America, but I think in our district it feels like Read Across the World. Because that we have students from all over, like they were saying, we have over 50 languages. And so it's so fun to go into classrooms, especially when they have a world map, to be able to find out where everybody's from and what languages they speak, and to find connections with them. So it's just been a real joy. I was also invited to observe at Meadow Homes the Hegarty method of teaching young students in TK, K, and first grade the sounds of letters. And it was really fun to watch in action. And the students were really into it. It was very physical. There were hand motions that went along with it as well. And it felt like play-based learning as well. It was really fun. And it seemed like students from all different backgrounds were able to catch on to really figuring out those letter sounds. So it was very interesting to see, and I appreciate that teachers are who brought this forward and shared it with other teachers. It seems to be spreading. So thank you for hosting me. I also was able to attend the Concord Safety Night last night. Was that last night? Yeah. Thank you. Trustee Mason was there as well. And so thank you to the City of Concord, to Vice Mayor Nakamura, and to the organizers of the event and the Concord Police Department. It was really valuable information. And I appreciate that it was recorded as well, so that hopefully people who were not able to attend will be able to access the resources and the information. It also was a reminder to me of how far we've come, that some of the things that we've put into place over the last few years in this district, like the Say Something anonymous reporting system and the close partnerships between schools and school districts and police departments, that those things are really working to prevent tragedy. They had some very good examples of that as well that they gave. So much appreciation to everyone who's keeping our families safe. I also got to go to the Project 212 robot reveal out at Ignacio Valley High School, which is always super fun. I try to make it to that every year that I can. It's always just so impressive to see that the students fully lead the event, presenting their invention, and that every student participates, even the ones who are brand new. They stand up there and speak, and they all cheer for each other and support each other, and it's very professional. Being presented to business leaders and mentors from the community as well. Very impressive. I got to go to the county honor band over at Los Medanos Community College. There are people from students from our district and other districts that came together to perform in that as well. And then this morning, it was just so wonderful to be able to celebrate our own trustee Ochoa. Congratulations for all of your accomplishments and achieving your graduation credits. And I'm sure that will be talked about later. But we're just so proud of you, and we're so thankful to have you here on the dais with us, sharing your perspective and sharing the perspectives of so many students across the district as you've been out and about and making sure to hear from them. And so just much appreciated. And congratulations, Teachers of the Year. Thank you to every single one of you who is so intentional about being fully inclusive of students of all languages, genders, races, abilities. These are our values of this district, and they are in fact our board policies that must be followed. But we just really appreciate your intentionality and your caring of all of our students. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Nzewi, I don't want to skip you. Would you have a report tonight?
I will I will be brief, and I'll save most my things for next week since we only have a week in between. But I just wanted to just honor Trustee Ochoa. I hope you are so excited and proud of yourself. And I'm so sad that I'm not sitting next to you this evening. You are amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm honored to get to know you this year. In fact, Dr. Clark is right. I am excited that we have a real live early educator as one of our teachers of the year, and I'd like to just congratulate all of our teachers of the year nominees and finalists and top two. You are amazing, and our students are so lucky to be educated by each of you. Otherwise, you'll get me live and in living color next week with lots to say.
Well, we look forward to hearing about everything that's happening on the East Coast. Trustee Ochoa.
You're not excited.
Trustee Ochoa.
Last Monday, I had the opportunity to go to the California Academy of Science. It was really fun field trip. While I was there, I got to see a whole bunch of different animals that I have never seen up close before, such as an octopus, glowing jellyfishes, and a museum full of exotic animals. On February 27th, I attended the Fentanyl Awareness Night at Olympic High School. It was great to see how many people came with their families. It was a personal way to let people know more about the dangers of fentanyl and how it is affecting our local communities. I hope to see more events like this in the future. Lastly, I have some exciting news to share. I am happy to announce that I'm officially a high school graduate. I would want to say thank you to all the people who came out to graduate me today. I would say thank you to all the people that came out to congratulate me today, including Dr. Clark and many of my fellow board members. Your support this year and in the years even before I knew you means a lot to me. At my graduation announcement today, there were also Mount Diablo Unified staff from my elementary years. It is a great reminder that every experience in your journey was more special because of the adults who supported me along the way. Finally, I would want to remind young people never to give up on themselves because there is so much more happiness still ahead. Throughout life, you would grow, change, and become different versions of yourself. It's important to love and be grateful for each version of yourself because every chapter shapes who you are becoming, and each one matters.
Wonderful. Thank you. Trustee Mason.
Notes here. Okay. Oh, after the last meeting, I think it was like the next day, I went to Olympic for the new partnership. We're having a new pathway there, which is about customer service, which I think is really, really perfect because I know a lot of, from personal experience, a lot of those Olympic kids leave Olympic and go to jobs. So it's just going to help them succeed and grow faster. I'm going to be watching that one to see how that grows. And then I went to the Meadow Homes to read, and I read in Miss McLean's class and Mrs. Hinckley's third and fourth graders. And as I shared last year, I choose third and fourth graders because it was my fourth grade teacher that got me hooked on reading. And so I actually read them a chapter from one of the books that my fourth grade teacher had read me, which is Mrs. Pigglewiggle, which I was delighted to find it was still on the allowed to read list. So I read a chapter of that to them. And then I went to the Project 212. Always fun to be there. The kids are so articulate. I've really found going to a lot of things in the past couple of weeks that people are really very kind and nice in Mount Diablo School District. I know at the Project 212, I'm short me was sitting there and having a hard time seeing because I was by the door, and one of the fathers asked his daughter to move so I could get in and see. And I thought, I'm like, you know what? It's about your kids. I just really need to be here to support. And then the next day I went to Concord High School for the bands and all the different grade levels of the bands. And I knew I wanted to sneak out before all the car. I'm telling you, there was no place left to park. It was great. There was Bay Point's kids there, Concord kids from all the different ages, all supporting each other. But I'm standing quietly against the wall, and here comes a gentleman and says, here's a chair, sit down. And I'm like, I must really be starting to look old. People are taking care of me. Oh, and then I went to see the ribbon cutting of the new football field at Mount Dale High School. Very exciting. I've spent a lot of time in those bleachers when Pacifica used to play there. And then when my kids went there, going to the Mount Diablo games, I went to a game this year. So it's really, really a beautiful field, and I hope it lasts us a long time. And then the best day went yesterday. That was great to hear from all the partnerships that come to us from Diablo Valley College. Was really impressed with our own presentation by our own HR department, because it's like, wow, we really do employ a lot of people and there's a lot of opportunities. So I was very impressed with that, because I've been here forever and you kind of forget the wide perspective that Mount Diablo has on the communities that it serves. And then I went to the gun safety last night as well. And I'm just, again, want to reiterate the energy in the room tonight with our teachers of the year, the parents that I'm encountering when I go to the schools, the staff, the kids, with a lot of unease in the world. I feel like we're a really safe place to be, and that makes me happy.
Thank you very much. Mr. McDougall, do you have some comments to share with us?
I do. Let's see. Several things happened. The 27th of February, we attended the last CTE Career Pathways Day, like you mentioned, consumer services. So we're glad to see that getting launched, and we hope it succeeds beyond expectations. March 3rd, a Monday morning, I visited a couple of elementary schools with Dr. Clark here. Very interesting to sit in on those classes. So that was very educational for me. The next day, I had my own town hall meeting where the public meets and talks with a trustee. And we had a standing room only crowd due to all the teachers who were there. This was our third town hall, and we are getting good participation. We do it so the public and parents in particular can make comments and questions, and the questions are referred to district staff for answers. We hope to get more parents involved, as attending these board meetings here doesn't allow much for interaction, so they can do a lot more of asking questions than that at a town hall. The day after that, I participated in Read Across America. I read to the first grade class over at Meadow Homes, and really enjoyed that because they also asked me to come and help teach the alphabet with them. So that was very helpful, I hope. And then I participated in the track ribbon cutting. And I'll have to say, that field really gives. It's very spongy, and more so than dirt and grass. And I remember playing on artificial turf 50 years ago when I played rugby against the University of Minnesota. And I learned that you need elbow pads and knee pads when you're playing that stuff. But that was very interesting to see the track and the new field. Very impressive. Attended the annual Best Day this last Monday, and it was very interesting to see the teachers who shadowed the local professionals, and I think it was very educational for them as well. But I was glad to catch up on all the things that are happening in that program. And then was able to attend Crystal's graduation with the horn blowing this morning. So that was really good to see all your friends coming along, and really heartfelt congratulations to you, because they know that it was very hard for you to do it, and we just congratulate you on all the hard work that succeeded. And next week I won't be able to come to the board meeting because I'm going to be attending my granddaughter's wedding in Los Angeles. Thank you.
All right. So I just have a few comments. I too attended the Ignacio Valley High School Project 212 Robot Reveal. And as was stated, the students are very articulate, and they do enjoy sharing their skills in, what do I want to say, controlling the robot. Because there are various tasks that are required for the competition. But I think we mustn't forget that the students learn through hands-on learning in this particular program, because they manufacture all the components of the robot themselves as well. And so when you consider the hours that are spent in design, experimentation, and redesign and building again, it's just amazing the time that they're putting in and everything that they're learning, as well as team building, which is one of the most important things in our lives in the business world. I attended the Best Day, the luncheon portion. And just so folks understand the acronym, it's Business and Educators Shadowing for Tomorrow. And through this process, teachers and our business partners learn to understand where students are at, what students need to be successful in the business world, and then business becomes a partner with our schools. And it's amazing collaborative effort. Each year we see new faces, but we also see many people returning to be hosts for our teachers. And the DVC has a shared certificate program that they're offering for certificates for students attending DVC that help them advance more quickly in gaining their degrees that they want to earn. And I too was very impressed with our Mount Diablo Unified School District Human Relations team and their presentation. And I believe our business partners understand now more about the work that Mount Diablo does and the importance of our employees. And I think they were very appreciative of the information as well. And today I participated in the CSBA Advocacy Week. 6 trustees from throughout Contra Costa and Alameda County are meeting with legislators. And today we met with Senator Grayson and Assemblymember Wicks, and shared concerns and bills and what do I want to say? We advocated on certain positions with these individuals. And what's great is when trustees from across the county and even Alameda County can come together and advocate for the same thing, because even though we seem very different, we all have common needs that must be met. And we even advocate for positions of smaller school districts and larger school districts, because we know when we improve the conditions for some, we're improving the conditions for all. And I too had the joy of celebrating Trustee Ochoa at her graduation clap out at Olympic High School. It was exciting to see everyone who supported her and the pride in her mom's eyes and in everyone who knows her. So congratulations. Thank you. Dr. Clark, would you like to say a few words?
Great. Yep. I have a um, I have a short presentation, but always lots to say when there's exciting things happening.
Right.
So again, I think more than ever, our LCAP really remains as that North Star as we just navigate going into spring. Um, I know it's raining this evening, but the sun is definitely awaiting to come out, and that brings new growth, but it also just on a school campus can bring a lot of anxiety and a lot of activity. And so as we continue to meet these LCAP goals, just always want to keep them in the forefront so that we know what it is that we're striving towards. And if folks don't know what we're about, all they have to do is read our LCAP, and that means our students, teachers, staff members, administrators, families. It's all here in the LCAP. And again, I think that we are making good progress on LCAP goals 4 and 5. And so I just want to, give a shout out to all those who are supporting those students that we've identified. I want to thank many people in the room had a huge hand in our professional development day that took place on Monday, the 10th. We have 2 of these a year, and if I could wave a magic wand, we would have a week of professional development before school. We'd have a week in the middle, and we'd have a week in the end. But that's not possible. But just some of the highlights of the day, and I know I've missed some, but these were just some of the things. Is that first of all, we've really been focusing on our principals as really being those instructional leaders at their sites. Not only are they instructional leaders, but they're also they wear so many different hats, knowing each kid, working with families, knowing all their staff members, supporting all of those folks on campus are key to that principalship. And so they led their trainings, and they shared current data. They shared making plans on how we're going to address the rest of the spring and how we're going to continue to monitor student growth. So just a big hats off to our principals and the folks in the room who supported them. Our special education staff met at Concord High School, and our special education team worked with them. I attended the TK training over at Concord High School, and we brought in West Ed, and they were working with brain developmental science and really refocusing the young learners. Our classified employees were at Concord High School. Counselors and social work specialists were at Willow Creek. Our CTE teams participated in Best Day at local businesses, and then also debriefed at Serendipity. And we heard another powerful presentation by DVC, which is just such a gem to have right here in our district and in our community. And I know I get Dr. Fontanella nervous when I start getting excited about DVC because I just want more of our students to have that opportunity to get on that campus and actually see that they can do it and they can compete and they can be successful in that environment. So it all comes from a good place. Our world language teachers were at Willow Creek, and visual and performing arts on the schedule it said to be determined, so I'm not quite sure where there were. And there were many more learning opportunities. So a lot was squeezed into that one day. I'd be curious to see how our attendance was. The preliminary reports I received was that attendance was good amongst our staff. It is a day that if they want to take a personal day or a sick day, they can do that. But many of them came to participate in the learning. So just a couple quick pictures here as we look at number one. She just left, but I know the principal from Shore Acres, and I'm pretty sure this picture's from Shore Acres. But this is just, again, this is learning, right? It's not sitting in rows. It's not stage on the stage getting talked at all day, like putting stuff together and letting our kids go to town on it and stuff. And so these students are creating these electrical circuits and things like that. So very, very exciting to see that. our counseling team just continues to shine. And I know that, you know, these counselors are doing this outside of their work week. They're not asking for any compensation. They're just doing it because, you know, they really feel committed to their communities and saw a gap there. And so so here they did that. We have, you know, our team there. We got Dr. Stuckey Smith there. We got Linda Pete. We got Linda Pete there. And the picture on the right is our families who came to be supported that day. And again, it was just an activity that they had where they were painting. I don't know if they were painting their idea situation or their families, or you know where they'd like to go afterwards. But just really, when we talk about community, that's what it's all about. But it wouldn't happen without these highly qualified, culturally proficient and responsive staff who saw a need and then went to work to fill it. Another thing, when we talk about staff, this is our principal over at Prospects, and what she is doing right now with high school kids at an alternative school who, you know, oftentimes get a bad rap out there, but they are doing attendance raffles. And so when you show up, you can do a raffle to get a prize, and you can see these students are engaged and excited about this raffle. And I don't quite know what's in that little bucket there, but they're excited about it. So again, sometimes you just got to think outside the box to get students to, you know, want to come to school and to see the value in school, so that they can get all that we have to offer, you know, within the campuses. I know many of you talked about the ribbon cutting at Mount Diablo High School. You know, this is not only for our students, but it's also for our community. As I've spoken to Mount Diablo High School students in the past, oftentimes they feel that you know, that they're neglected, and they're at this older high school. I don't know, it was built in the turn of the century, not the last turn of the century, but the previous turn of the century. But to have a state-of-the-art field, the only one so far in the Bay Area, you know, just was a tremendous, it's a commitment that we have in letting them know that they are important, they matter, and they're just as important as anyone else in this district. And so we were excited to be there. I want to thank Melanie Coslow and her team, because this really went off without a hitch. Like, we didn't even know, I mean, we didn't hear about it happening and things like that. So I know we hear some things, but like, so much happens that people don't even notice, you know, and so for them to put in a whole field and track right under the nose while school is taking place, and for there not to be a peep about it, just hats off. And I don't know if Melanie's still here. There she is. Yep. So, and the group that did it just really spoke highly of she and her team and stuff like that. So, so do want to recognize that. I know you guys talked about Read Across America. It's funny, I wasn't invited to read in any classes, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll read to somebody else. But
Buddy, invite him.
yes. But no, it's you know, just it's an important time. And again, this is a I believe he's a captain in the police department. So you know, just again, that community feel that we have at so many of our schools, and bless you, and so much in our community. Last night we did have the opportunity to talk about gun safety, and again, I know that the conversation was about gun safety, but as it morphed, and as each of those people in the circles unpacked what they do and how they contribute to student health and wellness, so much came out. And so we really provide a comprehensive program for putting students at the center of all those things, and all those folks work together, and there's partnerships that are taking place, you know, really to keep the focus on our students. And just extremely proud of that work, and extremely proud of the work that we do to support our students. So I'm not done. I got a couple other things, but I wanted to share. I sent out our suspension data to our principals today, and just shared the data with them. And I asked them, if your data is high, or if it's low, or if it's flat, if you'd like to share anything with me, I'm available. And so So I actually received several emails, and I just wanted to read a couple things of what principals said. Now, when we talk about reducing suspensions, the goal is not to turn the other cheek to misbehavior or to violence or to drug use or to things like that. The goal is to establish relationships, to be proactive, to be present, to know who your students are so that you can prevent those things from happening. And unfortunately, when they do happen, that you respond in a way that is going to help the student learn from their mistakes and become a a better person and learn from it. So just a couple things that principals shared with me. So I'm not going to identify the school, but our numbers are trending lower this year because we are being very intentional with the use of our other means of correction. Admin and counselors are facilitating conflict resolutions between students and sometimes between students and staff. Our counseling team has been very proactive and responsive in designing presentations for all students on a variety of topics, i.e. racism, sexual harassment. In addition to adapting SEL lessons for teachers to lead in classrooms. Each department takes turns in leading SEL lessons every week. As a school, we have been working on building community and relationships. I think the combined effect of these strategies has led to an overall improvement, decrease in suspensions. With this last quarter of the year coming up, we hope to continue this positive momentum and maintain low suspensions and high academic rates. Thank you. That's what the principal wrote. That's not me just thanking you. And then another principal, these are just some bullet points here of things that they did. School counselor classroom push-ins for restorative practices and circles and mediations. Frequent meetings with parents. Admin restorative practice circles and conflict mediation. I think I read that already. Establishing and communicating school-wide behavior expectations. Working closely with school counselors, school psychologists, and district behavior intervention teams. Meeting with students individually to discuss behavior concerns and solutions by use of site behavior contract. Learning resource video on self-discipline, self-control, and responsible decision-making. So those are just some of the things you didn't hear in there. We are just turning a blind eye to things, or we're saying, oh, these kids can't, behave right because of whatever you want to fill in. They're really being proactive, and that has been the goal all along, to use what the research says works and to actually implement it in a learning setting. So extremely proud of that. And I have several more emails just like that. Maybe they all got together and wrote these, but they are great, and I was extremely proud to see that. Can I get the next one? The other thing that I'm submitting this so it's on the record is this is a summary report, an executive just an executive summary of our work with TNTP. And so in here you will see what the project overview is and our ambitious goals. So there is district leadership. They're working on school leaders. They're working on the math instructional leadership teams. They're working with the literacy instructional leadership teams. And then they're also providing specific support to our schools that are receiving CSI support. So again, like none of this happens in a vacuum. This is all, our administrators are participating, our district staff are participating, and those teacher leaders are participating. But so there's just as you go through the document, there's a summary on district leadership, there's a summary on school leadership, and there's a summary on the math ILT, and a summary of the CSI work. And so I've just put that document in there for the community to read, for the trustees to read, and then if you have questions, you have that. So just in closing, again, I want to acknowledge our Teachers of the Year. I think as I read their sort of summaries, there were lots of things in there that were consistent amongst many of them. Many of them, it's about service. Many of them are experienced educators. Many of them are working in schools where there's high needs. So those are folks who, you know, who are really passionate about this work and see the value of actually working with students and developing and having a huge influence on our future young people. So just really excited to be able to celebrate them and highlight their efforts. And then lastly, just want to again recognize Trustee Ochoa. You know, I mean, graduating high school, like, right, a lot of people just say, yeah, what's the big deal? But it's a big deal because it's the first big commitment that our young people have um, in in life, right? It's something that, you know, it takes 4 years. It takes a whole bunch of rules and meeting requirements that they don't, like, you don't just aren't born with knowing how to navigate the high school system and things like that. And I think just what makes this so special is that there's just been changes in our alternative schools, whether it's Prospect or Olympic. They're both model continuation schools. They both have leaders there who believe in the students. And when you go to those campuses, you do not hear blame. You do not hear, "Woe, it's me." The kids aren't feeling sorry for themselves. They're not fighting. They're not, they're not into, negative behaviors. It really is a supportive environment. So we are proud that you accomplished this, but, like, there was never a doubt that you wouldn't, right? And so it's just the first hurdle. And what's going to happen is there's going to be many, 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 many of those hurdles in life that come before you. But hopefully, you know now that regardless of where it is, regardless of where you start, regardless of who's around you, you can accomplish whatever you put your mind to. And as I told you today, we celebrate you, but we celebrate every single kid in this district. Every single kid in this district gets the respect and the love that we showed you today. That's how we all feel, and that's what it means to be an educator in this district and to work in this district under my leadership and under the leadership of this board, and which you're part of this board. So you set the tone for all those other students out there. So just extremely proud of lots of things happening. We can only affect what we have direct, influence on. And right now, we're focusing on taking care of our students, taking care of our communities, taking care of our employees. So thank you all for allowing me to share a little bit during the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Sometimes the hard part is getting back to business, right? So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is the next item on our agenda. There we go. So items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be approved or adopted by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, any item may be removed from the consent agenda upon the request of any member of the board and acted upon separately. So are there any items that trustees would like to see pulled for discussion? And I will recognize Trustee Nzewi. Do you have anything you'd like to have pulled on the consent agenda?
No.
All right. Well, with that, I just have one comment. I'm very excited that there's a principal going to attend the 2025 Science Education Summit. Woohoo! And I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Trustee Cound with a second by Trustee Mason on the approval of the consent agenda. Any further comments? Trustee Ochoa, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Cound?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
And Linda Mayo votes yes. That motion is adopted with a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from Trustee Ochoa. We're ready to move on to the business items. 16.0. Dr. Clark, 16.1.
Yes,
Changes in
16
board policy.
16.1, you've all have seen that. We're bringing this back for potential approval.
Madam President, I move to approve revisions to BP 4118, 4140, 4157, 4240, and AR 4157 as presented.
I'll second that.
So on item 16.1, we have a motion by trustee Count with a second by trustee Mason on the adoption of, I have to put my glasses on, BP 4118, BP 4140, BP 4157, and BP 4240, as well as AR 4157. Is there further discussion? Trustee Ochoa.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
Trustee Cound.
Yes.
Trustee Mason.
Yes.
Trustee McDougall.
Yes.
Trustee Mayo also votes yes, so that motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with the support of Trustee Ochoa. 16.2, Dr. Clark.
Yes, so again, this is coming back for approval. You've already had a chance to review these policies, these updates, and we're asking for.
Okay. There were a lot on this list. Is there a motion to approve?
I have a question for our legal counsel. Do I have to read every number or can I say as presented? Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the revisions as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by trustee Mason with a second from trustee McDougall regarding the policies on item 16.2 to be considered as presented. Let's see, we're ready for the opinion of trustee Ochoa. Trying to change it up a little
Yes.
bit. Trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
Trustee Mason.
Yes.
Trustee Cound.
Yes.
Trustee McDougall.
Yes.
The motion is adopted for approval of all of the policies on 16.2 with a 5-0-0-0 vote and support from trustee Ochoa. 16.3, Dr. Clark.
Yeah, Madam President, 16.3 and 16.4 are first reads, and so it's just info only. I know that 16.4 is info action, but info only is fine for both.
Okay. Their preference with trustees? We'll bring them back at a future board meeting. All right. Well, at this point in time, we don't need a meeting extension. Let's see. And are there any requests for future agenda items?
Just, Madam President, we're going to be doing an arts presentation in the next couple meetings. I talked with Ms. Hoover, and she's excited to do that, and so we have that. Next week, we're going to be having our second interim. Very excited about that, and that's all we have.
Great.
I'm very thankful that we're not making reductions right now before March 15th. So that does not need to be on our agenda as it is on many of our neighboring
Yes,
districts.
we have a reason to celebrate. All right. With that, we are at item 21, which is adjournment. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time this evening. And the meeting is adjourned.
Bye.